Welcome one and welcome all to the second part of the Bear Beading Kit 2017. Now anyone who has watched part 1 will know we got this far. Make the head, made the nose and the ears. This time we're going to be making the body and the basket and also a little hook on top of the head. Now the first thing we're going to need to do to start the body is to get 60 centimeters of string. Then we're going to turn the head upside down and find the central ring of beads here. There should be 6 of them. And we're going to thread the string through this bead here with the red on the left and the blue on the right. Once that's done, position the head in the center like so. Add 4 blue beads to the red side of the string and cross the blue end through the 4th bead added. Next, from this position, take the red, now on the right, through the next bead along on the bottom, add 2 pink beads to the blue, and cross the red through the 2nd pink bead added. From here, we're going to take the blue end through the next bead on the bottom, add 2 more pink beads to the red, and cross the blue through the 2nd one. Then we're going to repeat this pattern twice more, leaving 1 bead left on the bottom there. That is, taking the inner string through the bead on the bottom, adding 2 pink beads to the outer string, and then crossing through the 2nd one. So that's twice more. Then to finish this row, take the red, which should be on the inside now, through the last bead here, take it up through the first blue bead added at stage 1, add 1 pink bead to the blue, and cross the red through that one. An extra note though, for the back one and this one where the knot was tied earlier, I did have a lot of trouble pulling the string through, and at this point I do recommend using a real needle to thread it through as it was quite troublesome. That should leave you with this sort of shape here. Now from here we should have the red on the left and the blue on the right, and all we're going to do, we're going to add 3 more pink beads to the red side and cross the blue through the 3rd one added. Next, take the red coming down here through the first blue bead along, add 2 more pink beads to the blue end and cross them through the 2nd one. Then, in a similar fashion to before, we're going to just repeat this pattern 1, 2, 3, 4 more times, leaving just 1 bead left. That is, the inner string goes through the outer bead on the piece we've already made. We add 2 pink beads to the outer string and then cross them through the 2nd one. And repeat, repeat, repeat. To finish this part of the body, take the blue string coming down here through the final bead on the bottom, up through this bead on the side, add 1 more pink bead to the red and cross the blue through it. And finally, take the red end coming down here through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beads to make a circle around the edge, and then tie it together with the blue here. Once they've been tied together, rethread them through a few and cut them short. Once that's all done, you should have finished the body. Now this series doesn't have arms and legs because they simply sit in a basket and it would make it, difficult to fit. So the only thing left to do on the animal now is to turn it down like this, and finding the very central bead here, we are going to thread 30 centimeters of string through this bead. Next we're going to thread 6 pink beads onto the back string here and tie it to the string in the front. Finally, just rethread these end pieces through some of the other beads and cut them short to finish. And there you are, the bear is done. So next we're going to start on the basket, and for this you will need 100 centimeters of string, 1 end blue and 1 end red. Add 8 blue beads to the middle of the string like this, and then just cross the 2 ends through one of the end beads to create a circle like this. And we're just going to turn it sideways like this with the blue end on the top and the red end on the bottom. From here we're going to add 4 more blue beads to the blue end and cross the red end through the last blue bead added. Next, we're going to take the blue string coming out here through the next bead along the circle here, add 3 more blue beads to the red end, and cross the blue through the third one added. And then from this point, we just have to repeat this pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more times, just leaving the last one here empty. So that is, the string that's coming towards the central ring bit here goes through the next bead along. The outer end has 3 blue beads added to it, and then the end that goes through this bit crosses through the last bead added on the outer string. And once you've come all the way around, all you need to do is to take the blue string down through this bead and up through this one, add 2 more blues to the red end, and cross the blue through the second one added on the red. From here, we're going to start the second row, and to do that, we want the red coming down and the blue coming up. The red is going to go through this bead here. The blue is going to have 4 additional blue beads added to it, and then the red will cross through the fourth one. From here, we're just going to use a repeating pattern to finish this row. That is, the string on the inside here goes through 2 of the outer beads, and the outer piece gets 3 additional blue beads added, and then they cross through the third one. So you'll need to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more times, leaving just the last one here. So don't forget, inner string goes through 2 beads, and the outer one gets 3 added, and they cross through the third one. When you come to the last 2 beads on the bottom here, you should have the blue end coming down and the red going up. Take the blue through this bead, and this bead here, add 2 beads to the red, and cross the blue through the second one. With the second row finished, now we can start on the outer row. And for this, we should have the red coming down and the blue coming up. We are going to take the red down through the next bead along here. We're going to add 5 pink beads to the blue and cross the red through the 5th pink bead. From here, we just use a very similar pattern to the one we used before. The inner string goes through 2 of the outer blue beads, and the outer string has 4 pink beads added, and they cross through the fourth one. And you just want to do this 6 more times, and that should leave the last 2 blue beads empty. And for the last 2 blue beads, all you need to do, take the blue string coming down through both of them, bring it up through the first pink bead here, add 3 pink beads to the red end of the string, and cross the blue through the 3rd pink bead added. And that should finish the 3rd and final row of the basket. Next, to start the handle, we're going to take the red end on the left here through the pink bead next to it there, and we're going to add 2 blue beads to both ends of the string. From this point, we're going to hold the 2 ends together, and we're going to add 24 blue beads over both strings to make one long line, like this. Then, from here, we're going to separate the strings again, and we're going to put 2 additional blue beads onto the red end. With the 2 extra blue beads added to the red, we're going to bring the whole thing over the top and make sure that the red end comes through the 2 pink beads opposite the first 2 on this side, which would be these 2 here. From here, we should have the blue coming down and the red coming up. We're just going to add 1 blue bead to the blue, 1 blue bead to the red, tie them together, thread them through a couple of the other beads, and cut them short to finish. With the main part of the basket done, now we can put this aside for a moment, as we have to make the flower decoration. And for this, we're going to need 30 centimeters of string with 5 pink beads on it. Next, we're going to add 1 yellow bead to the left side, bring the end of the left side around and take it back through these 2 beads. Then we're going to take the right side down through this yellow bead and back up through this one and this one, hopefully giving you this sort of design. From here, we're just going to cross these 2 strings through an additional pink bead to create the flower. Next, we're just going to attach the flower to the basket. First, come to the handle and come diagonally down to one of the blue hexagons. Doesn't matter which one, whichever one you like. Take one of the strings from the flower down through this bead here and tie it to the other side, well, on the other side, like so. And then, finally, take the final piece of string you have remaining, up through this blue bead here, around, down through this pink bead on the flower, and just tie it to the other end nicely underneath to hold it all in place. Once you've got both sides down, rethread the excess through a couple of the other beads and cut them short to finish the whole thing. And now for the moment of truth. Yes, this is what the kit should look like with the blue and pink basket with the bear inside. And this is what it does look like. Now, yeah, it does look pretty much the same as the packaging. You can see I added the chain over the loop in the top of his head and the handle of the basket to keep them together, and it sits in there quite nicely. Now, my flower is on the opposite side of the basket, but that doesn't really matter because you can just put it wherever you want, really. And that's, well, in a nutshell, what it is. These bead kits are a little bit tricky to make because the head and the basket are just one long piece of string, which can be a little bit fiddly at times, making them more difficult than the last series, but they are very nice to touch. They're kind of soft and smooth and quite cool. There's something very tactile about them, which I like. The body of the animals is a little bit disappointing as it has no arms and legs, but again, that is so it fits nicely in a basket. Well, there you are, the bear of this series, only the panda left to go. And I will say, this is quite a nice combination of colours, much nicer than the rabbit, which just all kind of looked a bit white. So, if you do try to make one of these, good luck. I hope this video is or has been helpful to you, and if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments and I will answer them when I can. So thanks for watching, and until next time.